What's up, y'all? Welcome to Furey Talks. I'm your host, Seth Furey. So today's guest happens to be a friend of mine who is in a relationship, which is kind of different from a lot of my other friends. So I wanted to bring him in, give a different perspective, and give you some truth and some honesty that might help you guys out and help you see things a little different. So with that being said, allow me to introduce my man, Aire.
How you doing, brother?
What is up, my brother?
You know, man, I'm proud to be here.
It is good to see you. So Aire and I, how long have we known each other for?
Man, you know, I really don't know. I'll say about like
roughly
6 years, something
okay,
like
we
that.
landed on the same number. So
yeah.
Aire and I met at the same modeling agency.
Yeah.
Bumped into each other, just, you know, two men connected based on, you know, similar energies, and then we just been friends ever since.
Yeah.
Throughout the duration of both of us knowing each other, he's always been single.
Yeah.
At least as far as I know. And
yeah.
I believe I've always been single since I've known you, because I was already out of my last relationship, right?
Nah, you were kind of.
I was still twinkling in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was on my way out, he was still single, and now he's deep in.
Yeah.
And being in LA, people just act like that's the most impossible thing to do. I'm still on the fence trying to figure out if it's possible. But I look at people like him and I'm like, okay, he did it.
I thought the same thing for a long time. I mean, it definitely wasn't an easy thing. I'm 31 now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had my experiences and I've been wanting for the past maybe 4 to 5 years, like to settle down. Like I really wanted to settle down, and I really tried to kind of focus on what I was doing, where I was going.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the same time, I would still get caught up and still like, I meet somebody and they're just the same. I don't think I can trust them, and
Gotcha.
you know,
Okay.
it was just they kind of showed me that they
Now,
were.
what made you feel like you couldn't trust them?
A lot of them just showed me that they were just not in it to really get to know who I was and grow with me, but to just see what I did and what I had.
Okay, so you felt like you were approached by a lot of opportunists.
Exactly.
Got you. Okay, and so you felt like as you got older, you were able to identify quicker who those types of girls were.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. As I got older and kind of set myself in different experiences and actually was aware of like the potential, the possibilities of like wanting to get to know somebody on that level. I think that's like a big thing with really knowing in yourself if it's your time and you really want to settle down or not. You got to really figure that out for yourself instead of just kind of going out and kind of figuring out the flow, because it is important to carry yourself in a certain way to let somebody know that you are serious, and in turn expect the same
That's a really good
perspective from that person.
So a lot of people go through, and I've been guilty of doing this sometimes myself, and I think at some point you really are going to have to do exactly what you said and prepare yourself mentally, and not just mentally within yourself, but the way that you are exuding the energy to people around you.
Most definitely.
You can't just, it doesn't always work out where you just play this bachelor life and then someday you meet a girl and then boom, you're out of it.
Right.
Sometimes it takes a little mental preparation to be like, hey, if I meet this person, I'm ready to get out the game. I'm ready to pursue this life and be responsible and be loyal. So
you
that's
definitely
a
have
good point.
to be secure in yourself and really know that's what you want. Because then, like you said, you're able to identify a lot easier what it is you want and what it is you don't want.
Yeah.
When you meet someone and you start to have a conversation and you're talking about life, or you're talking about things that are important to you that you're trying to feel for within that person, and then you'll hear the pros and cons, or the positives and negatives, and the tone and how they carry themselves and how they talk about what they want in life as far as growth, or where they're at and what goals they have, and the conversation just changes. You know, so then you kind of have a better understanding of like, all right, we're on the same page now. We can kind of progress in what you doing tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know,
people don't realize guys do this and girls do this. Within a first conversation, you will usually get put into a category.
Yeah,
they're gonna know. They're gonna listen to how you speak. They're gonna listen to if you are just living day to day recklessly, just looking for the types of questions you ask, whether it be about what you do, and it's not in an organic way, thinking just because they're just genuinely interested in you. They're asking in a way that feels like they're trying to position themselves.
Exactly.
And if it doesn't reach or match up to something that they had in mind, then they'll walk away, and you'll be like, go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can tell those types of people very quickly, or if they just have no depth. I've talked to girls where I'm like, once you get past the surface questions, like where you from, where how'd you get here, whatever, the conversation just dies. They ain't got nothing else to talk about. So I'm like, these girls aren't ready. They're not looking, and I just don't see myself wanting to spend too much energy in trying to pull it out of them, if it even is inside of them. You know what I mean? So
I feel that same way. Like, it was something that, as like I said, once I kind of made the decision on what I wanted, the conversations became very short. Not necessarily by design from me, but just that same exact thing of what you're talking about. Like, I'm trying to talk to them, trying to get a vibe or a feel for them, and then I just see there's no reciprocated like interest of wanting to really get to know you, and like you, not what you have and all the materials that we kind of talked about before. The funny thing is that you know, with that transition and realizing, changing my mindset, like where I'm at, where I'm meeting these people, potential women or whatever, I never thought that I would meet someone that I would take serious at a club. And
that's where you guys met.
Funny enough, we did.
Hey, that's the myth. I always say it don't matter where you meet the person. It's just, you know, because I've ended up in the club plenty of times, and I'm not a big clubber. But you get dragged to the club with your friends who are big clubbers. And then you just happen to bump into someone else who's not a clubber.
And that was exactly how it went, because at this time I was trying to be very precise and strict on myself about, like, this is what I want. I can't be in these type of environments, because I'm just going to continue to waste my time and whatever. But although, you know, I still wanted to have my fun at the same time in the process or whatever at times. So, but I mean, my girlfriend knows this now. We have conversations about it. When I went to the club, it was my friend's birthday, and I met my girlfriend, or now girlfriend. I didn't have intent, to be honest, initial intent to think that's the one and that's my girl, and even so, when I pursued her at the club, she was a little standoffish, and then I just treated her as another girl at the club. Like, I was just like, hey, what's your name? It's dark, it's loud, let me get your number, type thing.
That's all you can do at the club.
Right.
I hate trying to have a full-on conversation in the club. You're like yelling at, where you from? And they're just like, after a while, they're like, stop breathing in my ear. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, listen, you see what I look like, all right? The light flashed on me. Here's my info. Give me your info. If you're interested, we'll talk tomorrow.
Exactly.
Simple.
And so after that, I thought it would be that simple, to be honest. And she didn't respond to me. She didn't hit me back. She didn't respond to me when I hit her. I just hit her with that, hey, it was nice meeting you tonight. Boom, that's it. No response, no nothing. It took about, I think it was the next month that I actually reconnected with her, because after she did that, I was just like, whatever, like, you know, oh well. And I was having my Super Bowl party, and at that point I was just realistically, I was just going through every number of girls and stuff, like just trying to get people to come to the party. And her name popped up. She was in a recent text or whatever, so I was like, hey, what's up? Haven't talked to you in a while, hope you're doing good, but I'm having this party, if you want to come through. And she had responded like, who is this? Right? And I was like,
you know what? Never mind.
Exactly. That was initially, I said never mind to myself. And then I'll just put like, I can't remember exactly what I did. I want to say I might have sent her a picture of the flyer. And I was on parts, I might have been on it or something like that. And she's like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll try to make it. She didn't come.
Wow.
She didn't come, and I was even more so like, oh well, kind of like something along that next week or so. I just decided to hit her again. It was like, hey, like, how you doing? I know you missed my party. Like, what happened? Or whatever. Try to create a conversation. And she said whatever she said, but ultimately I had just invited her to dinner. I was like, hey, so I'm probably thinking about cooking tonight. I was going to invite you over for a nice dinner or something like that, right? And she was like, okay, yeah, cool. I'll come over. And that was our first date. I made some like chicken Alfredo.
Wait, so she came to the house for dinner?
She came to my house.
Wow, okay,
So with that, like I said, like I tell her and she knows, like, so when she did that and she accepted that invite, I put her in the box with everybody else. Okay. With any other like just girl I would meet at the club.
Because she came to the crib.
She came to the crib on the first date.
I was about to make a point, and I was gonna say that at first I thought you invited her out to dinner, and I was gonna say a lot of times that girls will, you know, if they want to be taken more seriously.
Right.
They may not respond to the party invites, or they may not
Right.
respond to the casual, because they just feel like they're amongst the list of many other women.
Exactly.
You invite them out to a restaurant and you just be direct with what you want, then they may be more likely to say, okay, this is something more personal to me.
Right.
But that wasn't the story here. So she came to the crib.
Yeah, so she came
So she got put in the box.
But she got put in the box to where, all right, I kind of like chalked it up as, I met her in the club, and that's just what it was. Like, so I took it as it was.
Yeah.
So we had dinner. We had a nice night. We had a really good conversation, which is something that, like we were just talking about, is we find a lack of good conversation when we meet people out. So I was really able to get a better understanding of her life, her background, her environment that she grew up in, the type of person she was. She was really family oriented. She had her head on straight. She was very she was smart. She had goals. She was in school at the time, and that just created a different kind of perspective for me, for her, like immediately. But within that, there was still a lot of temptation and sexual tension that was there with this good conversation. So we ended up having sex on the first night.
This is interesting, because I'm always telling people that just because you have sex on the first night does not mean it can't turn into a relationship.
Right.
It depends on how it happened.
Right.
Like at first glance, we already started to judge her for the simple fact that she came to the crib.
Right.
All right. Already putting somebody in the box. I say don't judge him too much. Maybe she just felt comfortable enough to say, okay, I can handle myself, and this man seems gentleman enough, which she did. She went with a gut, and she ended up in a good situation with him.
Yeah.
And then y'all got it cracking, but it wasn't something where she showed up at the door and just ripped off her clothes,
Right,
because
not
then
at
she
all.
absolutely would have been the category.
Right,
they had a whole night of romance and build up to where it was just undeniable.
Yeah,
and
most
then
definitely.
that's what happens with. I'm with that.
Like I definitely, like, my opinion on that perspective on should you on the first night or should you not, it's to each his own. I really believe that it's just a mutual understanding between you and that other person, nobody else.
Yeah.
If you feel this way about anything, that's fine. That's your opinion. You do what you feel best for you.
Yeah.
And move on.
Yeah.
If somebody decides, women are male, to indulge in sexual activities on the first night, if it's mutual, there's never anything wrong with it's your business. Do what you do, and whatever comes from it comes from. Some things may not work out because maybe the interaction was bad. It wasn't what you expected, and then you go your separate ways. Or there's obviously possibilities that it can work out, and you can move on and continue to grow.
It's so funny, because I had my boy on here last week, and we were talking about the whole idea. I don't want to jump off topic too much, but you're hitting all these points that are just making me be glad to have somebody else that's speaking this. He was like, I can make sex with anybody feel good. And I was just like, how are you going to do that? Like, if they don't have that, okay, you can gain passion.
Right.
You can teach, all those types of things as you get closer with each other, but you can't change the anatomy of a person and the way that you fit and you mesh. Like, there are certain things that you will be like, this just ain't gonna fit.
I have an interesting perspective on that too. Perspective, my bad. I feel that, again, it can be argued that it's to each his own. So when I say that, I mean, if you're able to have a really deep conversation and a mental connection with somebody prior to the sex, and you feel a really strong connection with them, and then you go in and then you have sex, but the sex is just not what you expected. I have friends that can argue that they believe that it's partially your job to show them the ropes on what you like and vice versa. Like, so like, pretty much saying, if we're doing this and I expect her to do this, I'm gonna tell her. So now she knows. Yeah. And me and my girlfriend kind of have that relationship as well. Like, there's things that we already like that we know that they do good, and there's some other things that we want each other to do.
I agree with that. I think we're on a different topic. You're talking about things that can be changed. I'm talking about things that are just set in stone. Yeah. The way they're built, the anatomy of them. Yeah. Those things you can't work on. Now, of course, if she has good sex, but maybe the aura wasn't all the way there, but like, we can work on this. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a deal breaker. Right. I'm talking about if you go get ready for it and you realize everything's off whack.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to be too graphic here, but it's just like if you just get there and you're just like, I don't want no piece of this. Like I'm sorry, everything before these clothes came off was amazing.
Right.
Now I don't want to be mean and say something, so I'm probably just gonna mentally check out. You know what I mean?
Well, for me personally, I'm the same way. Just to make that clear, like if I might have certain expectations, and then I can have a conversation and I can think that she's cool and everything like that, and then like you say, the clothes come off and it's just like, what am I doing here? You know what I'm saying? And then that would be the end of it. You know, and I wouldn't have much interest in trying to pursue and change, and that's cool. We cool. I can be cool with you. We friends, but we cool. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so I agree. And then I just feel the to each his own part is that there's some people that can tell you and can be very strong and secure in saying it's not all about sex for me. So to roll over into that, where I am now, as like just the security that I have in myself and the confidence that I have as a man, and just in the relationship that I have, my mindset has changed so much to what I thought a relationship was supposed to be when it comes to sexual interaction and stuff like that. Like me personally, I don't necessarily have the urge to want to do it every day when it happens. Cool, and let's get it popping.
That's because you've been in a relationship for a while.
Yeah, but it's just my mindset is like it's just I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about I'm constantly thinking about the future and our growth within like what we want. Like we say we want a family, we say we want a house, we say we want certain things like that. So my mindset is constantly focused on how do I position myself and ourselves to support what we want.
Gotcha.
So my mindset is more geared to those things of growth as us as a whole than trying to worry about my sexual needs first.
You're 100% right. The sex is not going to chump everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just feel like that foundation needs to be there, and then everything needs to build on top of that as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I think there definitely needs to be a foundation with this. Like that is very important to have somebody to fulfill your sexual needs. Like,
but once you have that, it's like every day and waking minute is not going to be about that.
Right.
Of course, because once you get done with that and you have to live with this person, and you don't like anything about them or their habits or their ways of thinking, like
there are a lot of different variables that go into building a secure, happy relationship, and sex is a part of it. You know, but then there's so many different other variables. Like, you know, just being able to sit in a room with her and have a conversation without being annoyed or bothered or frustrated or whatever, stuff like that. Just knowing that you have somebody that can push you and motivate you when you're not feeling motivated. Things like that. People that will help you when like when you're at home when you're at work all day and you come home and you got a nice home cooked meal. Something like the little simple things that become like necessities when you're trying to grow, and it's like, I got your back and I'm here for you, and it ain't all about sex.
I just met her for the first time on my birthday. And what I can say to your, which is great for you, is I like the way she carried herself around your friends and while she was with you. Because that's a big thing. Like sometimes you can get a girl that just doesn't know how to act in public. And it's like, I got to keep this prized possession at home in a case because I'm afraid of what you're going to say or what you're going to do, if you're going to drink too much, if you're going to like just go crazy on me. And so like, I think that's really cool that not only did she make you look good, like she made you look like y'all were a solid, unit. And so, everybody, when you left, they were like, Aire came up. You know what I mean? Like there was nobody like, that ain't gonna last.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what you don't want. So I think that's really great that y'all have that dynamic.
Most definitely. That's definitely a big part for me too. Just being a person who, I mean, I've lived in LA 90% of my life, so I know a lot of people out here. So that was something that I also was fighting with just finding somebody out here that I can trust to not know every damn body else that I know, and to be able to be cordial and respectful and respect me if we go out, and it's not so welcoming and to everybody that talks to her. So a person like me, when it comes to respect, I tell her, I don't necessarily like if she goes out with her friends and she allows guys to buy her drinks. for me, I feel that that's you're welcoming men to feel to assume that you're available.
Yes.
Right. So I tell her, and she's like, "Well, I just don't want to be mean because guys sometimes can be crazy." And I said, "I understand, but there's nothing mean about being respectful."
Yeah.
So I'm saying I don't mind you saying like responding and saying hi, but doesn't mean you can say no. Yeah. You don't have to say yes, and little things like that can be blown out of proportion in other aspects or in other people's perspectives and stuff like that. My thing is all about respect, and I always say, put yourself in my shoes. If your friend called you and they said they saw me out at a club and I was at the bar talking to a girl and I bought her a drink, how would you feel? How would that look?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh yeah, no."
Because it's one thing of how you have to realize that when you're out, you're representing her.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like people want to see, if they see their girl's man at the bar acting a fool, for one, they're going to have a distaste for you.
Exactly.
And then once the friends don't like you, it's a wrap.
It's rough, yeah.
But secondly, they're just going to be like slightly embarrassed for their friend. And then you're going to be worse as the girlfriend hearing that.
Right.
As a boyfriend, I want to hear, "Hey man, I saw your girl at the club. How was she? She was great, man. Nobody was talking to her." Like, I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I can go to sleep like a baby and be like, you know what? From this point on, I don't got to worry about nothing.
Yeah, and it builds trust, right? Yeah. It just builds so much trust, and it's so necessary to have that trust and have that respect so that you don't have to have reason to assume that you need to be insecure.
Exactly.
Now, there's so many perspectives and like arguments where it's like, you should just trust. You shouldn't be. No man should be insecure. And my response is like, no man or woman should give any space for their opposite to feel insecure about anything. Mm-hmm. You know what's respectful and what's not. You know what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Comment below if you agree with what he said. I actually agree with that. Yeah. A lot of people will say that's, maybe controlling, or that's, let her be free, let her do what she wants. But I personally don't believe that that's a matter of letting someone feel captured or not free. Yeah. I just think it's very basic common sense of respect. And again, if that's something that doesn't work for your relationship, we're not here to tell you that you're wrong. Right. It's just a matter of you guys not being a fit, because those two types of people being opposites, it's always going to be a headache. Right. Like, you're going to have one girl that, because I've known girls like that. They're just super free. They will dance with a guy. They'll let a guy buy them drinks. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, they'll feel secure in saying, well, I didn't go home with him. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, you did enough. I mean, I don't want any of that happening. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like, I hate girls like this too. Get away from me, I have a boyfriend. Like, I'm just telling you, you dropped your purse. You know what? I'm gonna keep your purse now. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be rude and ignorant. Right, exactly. But at the same time, respectfully, so that you don't cause a confrontation with a grown man and get hurt. You can deliver a message that just says, I'm unavailable. Exactly. And I think that's basic respect. I would love to hear what you guys think as well. So
most definitely.
That's dope.
Yeah. We've had a conversation before on, like, her wanting me to express exactly like how I feel on a wide spectrum within that situation. Is like, I wanted to make sure and be clear that to let you know that I don't want you to feel like you can't be nice to anybody and talk to anyone. Like, say if you're out with your friend who is single and some guys approach you guys and your friend likes one of the guys and they start talking, you got to kind of play wingman. Yeah. I was like, play wingman, but that doesn't mean so. But I say, talk to him. You can let him know I have a boyfriend, and have a simple conversation as being the wingman. Yeah. And it stops there. Yeah. There's no, well, let me get your Instagram, or let me take you to the bar and get a drink.
I'm gonna tell you where it goes south, because I'm cool with that. I get that part. This is where it goes wrong. Hey, babe. So me and my 5 girls are gonna go to these basketball players after party, and there's 5 of them. Yeah. But don't worry, I'm not talking to nobody. Yeah. But it's 5 and 5. Absolutely not. Right? So you don't get to play wingman at 3 o'clock in the morning. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can play wingman at the bar when it's a public space. At that point, I don't believe anybody in a relationship should be out past club hours.
Absolutely not.
Nothing happens after that point. Yeah. I should never have to wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and look over and see that you're not there. Yeah, that is the most empty feeling in the world. And I think if you're gonna be in a relationship, you have to make a commitment to come home every single night, especially if you live together. Yeah, every single night, you should never be waking up alone. That's just basic. My brother taught me that, and it feels right. Yeah. Who the heck wants to wake up and feel their girl gone?
It's just having that respect to not give opportunity to assume any infidelity or anything to be insecure. Yeah. right? You know what's wrong. You know that you live here. You're supposed to be home. You're not supposed to be out. I mean, it's common sense.
Exactly.
Grow up and stuff. Don't make no excuse. Well, I rode here with my friends and there's
you better
an
get an Uber.
Exactly.
Call
Like,
me.
come on.
I will gladly. I used to say call
Like,
me. I will pick you up. You're
right.
too drunk to drive. I'll pick you up.
And and my girl is really good with that, so I won't have no problems with that at all. Like she'll go and she's not a drinker, so she won't take shots. She'll have maybe 2 drinks, and she's just not.
She's a lady.
Yeah, she don't like to drink, so she won't get drunk. She'll be able to be the designated driver if need be, and if her friends want to stay out, she has no problem with, all right, well, I gotta go, and I'll get an Uber and I'll get home. So it's things like that that just create more security in me wanting to continue to grow with her.
Yeah.
Like, instead of having to be stagnant and just sitting there wondering, like, I know we having these conversations about family and in the house and doing this, but do I really want with this girl? Like, she's giving me so many reasons to assume. Is there opportunity? Is there a chance that she might be doing some bullshit or whatever like that? Yeah. And we've come to a place where she's not, and we're real secure in everything that we do because we communicate a lot.
That's
and I'm
the
very
best
big
place,
with communication.
All right, so just to give a quick little backstory, like I said, we used to be at Daniel Hoff, and we both lived slightly different lives with the things that we were pursuing, you know. And I've seen how you shifted. Wait, speaking of Daniel Hoff, let me show y'all this clip of us doing a little LG commercial, just to kind of show the dynamic of, for one, how far we go back, and two, you know, the type of things we used to get into. And we'll be right back.
He's back at it again with the white vans. So smooth, he ain't even trying. Daniel rocking that West Coast style. All the ladies yelling, he's so fine. This boy deserves to be recorded. Smooth Daniel.
So now, since then, I've noticed that you have just turned, I feel like you just kind of grew up. And it's cool because, you know, I saw where you were at a point, career-wise, where you were trying to plant your feet. You were trying to figure out what it is you wanted to do. You know, I think that's the big thing about LA. You come out here with a vision, you try a bunch of stuff. If it doesn't quite work, a lot of times people get discouraged and don't realize that their calling could very well just be right on the other side of the horizon. But you just have to be willing to, you know, take a quite little detour and just go with what feels right. So you went back to your roots. You have a football background. And now I'm noticing that he's just killing. I mean, what do you have, like a whole camp? What's it do?
Man, so yeah, just to go back, I was at that time when I was pursuing modeling and acting, you know, that's what I thought my passion was. That's what I thought I wanted to do. I was really, like you said, just trying to find myself. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just was like, this is something I can do right now, and it feels good. It's cool. It's working out. It seems like little by little. So let me just ride this wave. And, you know, I was stuck kind of just insecure and scared to step out and do something else, but I just really didn't know what I wanted to do. And, you know, God-given events, I had been placed in situations that brought other light to, you know, me finding my true passion, which is what I'm doing now.
So in relation to this new direction, new career, new rebirth, did you meet your girl during that or before that?
So we're going on about 2 years now.
Okay.
So she was kind of like in the middle, like right
as you were getting started.
As I was getting started with my business, my self-employed business.
Okay, so you were working with the school, and now you were ready to start on your own.
I was working with the facility, and then I was going off on my own, and I had no security. I mean, I had my apartment that I was keeping up, but I was straight grinding on a straight hustle. So a lot of things were like it was a stressful transition, like trying to get everything organized. So and she was there with me to help me kind of through that period and help me progress through that. So it was real.
So that's another positive thing about a good relationship.
Yeah.
Because your story kind of reminds me of mine in the sense where when I first got with my last ex, I was at a place where I was confused. Like I was bartending and just doing a bunch of things that I wasn't really enjoying, but just trying to make some money.
Right.
You know? As I started my massage therapy company, that was around the time when she came into my life. And it was something about wanting to be the man for her. Something about wanting to step out on your own and do something that they can not only feel proud of you for,
Right.
but you can feel proud of yourself about, you know? So I
Right.
think that's a really powerful thing that a woman can offer you.
Right.
You know, especially if they're the right kind of girl that is going to be very supportive
And appreciative of that mindset.
Yeah, appreciate, because that's a turn on.
Yeah.
Like any girl that can't be turned on by the fact that a guy is getting his stuff together, he's driven, he's about to be a boss. Like there's is a lot of qualities about what you've done. I mean, I'm just a friend observing, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm proud of you. I'm just
Yeah,
like, you know, I think that's something
appreciate
dope. So
that.
imagine
Yeah.
a girl
Right.
who can say that's my man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's something they can be proud of. So, you know, I'm sure she's able to feed off of what you do for whatever her dreams are.
Most definitely a lot, and it's really cool because she is somebody who I find she expresses a lot her appreciation of that very substance of me. Her being able to watch my drive and watch my motivation, and that's my love language as well, is pushing and I like to motivate. That's why I like working with kids. I love to motivate, teach, mentor, kind of uplift. And I do the same thing to her, but I do it vocally, but also I do it with my actions, and she can see both sides of it so that she can really fully appreciate it and then relate it into her own progression. You know, and she's been doing it. She's been doing a really good job with that lately too. And transitioning and starting her own business, and you know, throughout this pandemic, she's been having a lot of clients. She does hair, she does makeup and stuff like that. And so she sells a Monet product, and she just started like really opening up her avenues to kind of hustle and build exactly what she wants. And I always kind of remind her, like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, just you know, ask yourself and remind yourself, what are you doing it for?
Yeah.
And then like, that's something that I do. Like, what are you doing it for?
That energy in a household is so crucial.
Yeah.
Like I remember maybe like 6 years ago, actually about 8 years ago, when I was first thinking about Hands of Fury. For those of y'all who don't know, it's a massage therapy company that I own. And I remember living with these two roommates of mine, and I told them about the idea, and they were just so excited about it. Like they came into my room, they were like, yo, you can do this, you can do that. They were helping me come up with my logo. They were helping me, you know, find the right person to build the website. It was something about being in that energy that made that idea so fun. So I just think about, you know, being in a house like yours, and every day she gets to wake up to that same energy of like, all right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna check off, and how are we gonna get this done? That's super important.
And it's definitely like for some and for some points of my life, and for some of you guys that are watching out here, it can be easily kind of transition to feel almost like a burden of responsibility. It's like, I gotta keep pushing so that she sees and she can continue to be motivated.
That's not a burden.
But
That's inspiration.
My point is that you find times where you might think, because you kind of, me and my girlfriend have had kind of conversations that have became stressful because I'm so focused on our growth, and like I said before, of me being able to position ourselves so that I can provide for the things we want. And then sometimes it becomes a stress to where you feel it. You think it's a burden, but it's not. Like you said, it's very inspirational, it's very motivating, and it's it only thing it does is help you grow. And you don't ever want to be comfortable and complacent. Want to keep growing. So that feeling in your gut that feels like, man, I just don't like, it's a burden, or it's like I'm getting stressed out. It's like, nah, that's what you need. Now put the one foot in front of the other and go get that thing. Go do it. You know. And so it's become such a good dynamic in my household that I can continue to keep reminding myself again, like what I'm doing it for, to motivate me, and then lead by example.
Exactly. All right, so all in all, if you got anything from this episode today, it is that it's not impossible to find the girl of your dreams. It might be a little harder, especially in this day and age, and especially in the city of LA.
And most definitely.
But if you're looking, don't give up. Just, you know, be picky and be aware of what it is you're looking for, but also remember to prepare yourself to be ready to receive something like that. You know, get your mind ready, get your, you know, your career ready. Start working on something that's going to make you somebody who can be a stable person in the household that will inspire and draw women towards you. You know, that's a very sexy thing when a girl can see a man being a man.
And then don't be afraid to accept what somebody that you can create a connection with has to offer. Like sometimes, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, I have my standards and my standards are high and that's it, boom, boom. I think it's very important to have standards, but then at the end of the day, nobody is going to be perfect to that standards. And you have to understand that in order to grow. We have conversations, me and my girlfriend and I, on outweighing the pros and cons. We remind each other that all the time, and understanding that there are definitely some things that she does that gets on my fucking nerves, and vice versa. There's things that I do that she can't stand, but then there on the other side, there's a lot of things that I do to help her grow, and vice versa. And sometimes when we kind of put this standard so high on, they need to meet all these and not even give them a chance to even really see what they have to offer that can make your life better. Like if you're a successful woman and you got money already and you're here financially, then obviously you don't need a man to be there at the same level financially, but maybe you need him for other things in your life, like, you know, just other compassion things and support and stuff like that. So let somebody in to be that for you. Like, you know, don't just, if he ain't got what I got, then he ain't shit. Like it's not true. Like there's a lot that somebody can have to offer if you give them the chance to show what that is, and then outweigh the pros and cons. If the cons outweigh the pros, there's really nothing to really talk about. But if the pros outweigh the cons, and then those number of cons that's in that con box aren't deal breakers, move the fuck on.
All right, y'all, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching Furey Talks. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Aire, thank you so much for being a part of it.
Appreciate it.
I really love the fact that he was able to offer some mature and wise advice that I think a lot of people can use in their regular dating life. So don't feel like all good men are gone, because they're obviously not. There are mature men that are also here as well. So you just have to be mindful and ready to see it and look for it, and not just assume everybody's trash. With that being said, Aire, tell them how they can find you, my brother.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Aire_athletics. Definitely look forward to hearing from you guys.
So also don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And also hit that notification bell so you guys can be aware of when the next episode comes. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching as always. Furey Talks, later.